Hello everyone. We're out here today to put this Snowdog to some work. Now, if you don't know what a Snowdog is, just hang on and we'll get that explained in a minute. But it's the snow machine, and we've got it up here at Martin's cabin. Usually at Martin's cabin we're having good time sitting around the cabin having some coffee. Well, I'm going to warn you right now that this whole video is all about hauling logs with the Snowdog. So if that's not your cup of tea, I'll see you next week. But I wanted to get this review done to show you just how hard this Snowdog can work and how well it worked out for us. Now, you've seen me in some of the few videos I did the last few weeks. You know, I was a little tenuous as I rode that Snowdog, but now after having ridden it for a number of hours and done some different things, it's going a lot better. You can see here I'm kind of trying to help that Snowdog out by pushing on that log. Well, I found out later that wasn't doing the thing. There was a better way to do it, but this Snowdog really hauled the wood. Now, as you can see, we have a track down through the woods here that we used repeatedly, and so once that rut got deeper, it made running this machine so much easier. There was less friction, and so the logs, they came along a lot easier. And we found out some of the things that, now these logs, I should point out, these are tamarack logs. That's American larch. It's a very heavy wood. These logs were cut down and peeled several months ago, but tamarack does not dry down well, and so I'm not going to be surprised if these logs are still on the heavy side because they're full of moisture. And when I say heavy, I mean probably more than 50 pounds per cubic foot, which is really high on when you're talking about how much a log's going to weigh. So we're hauling logs here that they may be from as high as 1,000 pounds. We couldn't weigh them, but there's definitely some big brutes that we're moving along through here. Now, my place where the logs were was a lower, down in the swamp, sort of, down in the cedar swamp. And so now we're pulling these logs up to my cabin site where we're planning on building a new log cabin over the coming years. Now, all these logs that we cut, the ones that I'm dragging here now, this is probably an 18.5-foot log, probably at least 10 inches diameter midway down. But the butt end is, of course, a lot bigger, and then it narrows down some. But I'm just pointing out that these are some heavy brute of a log, and I never really thought the Snowdog would be able to pull these things in with the ease it did. Now, you'll see in the times coming up that we did break them loose. We get the knobs cut off, and if there was a big flare butt end on the log, we would cut that off, because having that flare at the end of the log digging into the snow at the far end of the log was enough to give us some trouble with the Snowdog. But you can see here we've got a good pile pulled in, and it's working great. For those new to the Snowdog scene, this is a Snowdog. It's a machine made in Russia, but it does have a 13 horsepower Briggs & Stratton motor on it. And this, if you notice, it's like a snowmobile, but you won't see any skis, and you just steer it from the back. It's about a $3,000 machine, weighs about 300 pounds, and it's only about 24 or 25 inches wide, so it has a lot of advantages as far as being compact, powerful, easy to load into any type of an SUV vehicle. And out here in the woods, we're finding out that it's working really well. This is our work site. I've got a good crew out there. Got drone man David. Of course, he's taking care of the drone for now. And cabin partner Jim, he's dragging the logs out and getting them ready. Now, this will be a good example here of just what we were doing out there. Here I brought in the Snowdog from a previous delivery. And this is early on. You see there's some logs laying under the snow, and as we work away, we keep hauling the logs out of this center spot, and then we get it opened up more and more, and we get out to, it's almost like a fan shape of the logs that are laying way out in the woods. And you can see we got to maneuver the Snowdog around, and then what we're kicking around there, yes, that's an old wheelbarrow part. And running short on time, I was in a pinch, and I threw one in the outback before we headed north, and it worked out really working well. I chained it to the hitch on the Snowdog, got another chain inside. We could pull the logs over the back of it, and it took a little practice. You'll see we're a little rough here, but as time went on, we got a lot better at it, and this particular log we're hauling right here isn't really a big heavy log, so we're practicing on the lighter stuff till we get our technique down. But things went really well. Here now we use the straps to pull it up. Now I've got it chained on, but I'm not a very good job. You can see we're going to have a little issue here. But a little jump to get it going. That's one thing we found out, that, to get it started. Once it got moving, there's a lot of things like that. You had the momentum going, but there I jumped around the stump. Again, I was learning a lot at this point, and here the log's off to the side, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to get it pulled up. I'm going to get it straightened out. And then, in the future times, we knew how to do it, and so we were a lot better at starting off right in the first place. So here we go. Now I'm on my way to the cabin, and David, believe it or not, this was a drone shot. He's got the drone flying down through the woods there after me, kind of chasing me along to see how this whole show is going to work. Okay, if you caught that, this isn't the same log I started off with, but in my editing, I don't think I even took a picture of hauling in a small log like that. So here's another thing of hauling the log down our packed rut all the way to the cabin. And you'll see here that occasionally I do the same thing again, where what happens is the main track starts to slip a little bit on some of the knobs and some of the tough spots. And so I was stepping off the machine slightly to take some weight off that sled, and then of course it went on ahead. Well, in later log hauls, I found out that if I just remained on the wheelbarrow base, that's our sled, and if I put downward pressure on the handlebars, that would cause the back of the track to bite in better, and I just went shooting ahead like I was supposed to. So that little kicking off to the side, you can see here, I'm not hot dogging it here, but I did get a lot better at riding the machine, so I'm got my leg up there just kind of casually riding along, because, well, like doing anything, after a while it just starts flowing so much better. And that was so much the case with using the Snowdog, especially in these, we're pushing it past what you'd normally use a Snowdog for, but that's why I wanted to show this, because I was very impressed. I never heard any belt slipping. We never heard any problem. Now, some have told me that I think we're pushing that thing a little too hard, and I do agree. But it's a machine, and I bought the machine to use it, and in the end, if I have to replace a part or two, I'm not going to hold it against Snowdog after the way it performed for me. Here you can see that when it comes to unloading, it was real easy just to dump things off of that little sled. I had a cant hook over to the side. I didn't go and get it this time, but I just try to roll these up, and then when someone was there to help me later, sometimes we'd put some straps around them and we'd pile them a little better so we didn't have wood spread around everywhere. But again, things are working really well. I'd come up, unload, and I could just spin around the cabin yard. We got it pretty well packed down by the time that we had this project done, because we probably hauled close to 100 trips around this thing. Now here I'm stopping the video because I'm not going to film this particular sequence going back. As you can see, we're up right near the cabin yard, and the logs are piled far enough away they won't be an eyesore for me. They're kind of out of the way. So now we're gonna head back. Now I'm heading back empty, and you'll see that maybe I bounced around a little faster, a little harder. I don't know. It wasn't really smooth country going back through there. There were some knobs and some pitches, and you can see here, it's just like in this rut. Watch how it just bounces, boom, boom. I'm not really steering the machine itself. It's pretty well just going in that rut. So again, as time went on, we got a lot better at this. And I'm not saying it was easy. I would trade off and have those guys run the dog in sometimes, because it was hard on your shoulders steering this thing and running all around. So now we're getting back into a little different segment where we were hauling logs. We got them out of that big core, and now Jim and I are working back in here. And this was tough hauling because we had to get them out. This shot right here now, it's hauling another really good sized log out. You can see I bounced off a little bit of a root ball there that hadn't got smoothed out yet, but a few rises, you'll hear the machine change pitch a little bit maybe, but overall, once I got it out of the logging site, I was always able to take it all the way up by myself. Like a lot of things, when I was packing up to get up here with the Snowdog and get this trip on the road, there's a lot of things I wanted to have prepped and ready. And one was a better metal sled or something back here that we were going to haul those logs with. Well, at the last minute, I just threw in this old piece of a wheelbarrow, and it had some holes in the front here, and I just put some eye bolts through there, hooked on a little bit of chain and hooked it around this. And this hitch on this Snowdog is really a strong, good setup. So, well, we're going to see what we can do. And this little piece of junk brought out of the junk pile really made the day. And I'm sure there's better setups, but we hauled about 100 logs. Now this is a stick compared to some of those big, heavy 800-pound logs we hauled. But all we would do is we would pull up, and whether we pulled the sled underneath or with two of us, we'd pull the log up, and then I had this extra long chain in here with a slip hook on it, and especially on a small log like this, I'd wrap it around twice and just hook the slip hook, and then I had a chain coming off our main hitch, and I would hook that up as short as I could, and we could just take off. And then when we come in to dump the load, we could just kind of shake it off, get it loose, and go get another one. So this little metal sled, I mean, I beat the daylights out of it, and we've abused it, but it did all I wanted it to do and more. Through trial and error, I found out that up this rough country and working hard like hauling them logs, that I liked to stand up on the sled. Gave me better power, leaning, and control, and I felt I could run this better and better leverage. From the factory, the handlebars there's three settings, but they're like here, here, and here. So in order to raise it up, I just cut some small, flat pieces of wood, and I placed them under the handlebar and lashed them in place. So now, when I'm going along, I can easily turn, lean. I got really good leverage. And one thing that I found out there was, you would see me go along sometimes as the sled started to slip. There's never a lack of power, but the belt would start, the track would start to slip on the little hills in the snow, and I'd get off, and mainly I was getting my weight off of the sled. I wasn't really kicking very much, but I had to keep up. Well, then the way you always learn things, I was coming back in on the last one, and for some reason, instead of getting off and kicking like that when I started to slip with this really big log I had, I found that if I just put downward pressure and let the back of that track dig in, like I say, there's no lack of power, and boom, I just took off, and it worked really well. So I know I still got a lot more to learn, but I'm just trying to pass on some of the lessons we have picked up this week and using this Snowdog for hard work. It wasn't long before Jim and I were really working well as a team. The one main thing was, I'll point this out, is we're both at this point, we're both too close to 70 years old to deny it. So we wanted to work safe. We didn't want to have any lasting injuries. And see what's going on here is I strapped around and I'm pulling up with my back to get the log up, and then we would pull the Snowdog back and pull the sled back each a little segment at a time to get it underneath the log, because we knew from experience that we wanted to have the nose of the log fairly far forward on our homemade bobsled from the old wheelbarrow. Now and I found out too that I was usually better off wrapping the chain around twice just for the sake. The slip hook worked really well, but these logs, again, they were peeled and there were hardly any knots on them, so we didn't want to be having that log come undone halfway down the trail. So you can see Jim's back there in the back, because again, as we started out, friction was the worst thing, and so he knew there was a rough spot back there, and he had the cant hook, and he was ready to pull this thing to the side a little bit so that I would have a freer pull taken off. And then once I got going, he could stand back, and I'm on my way.
Another strap back there.
Yep. Here. Just help. Just through there for now. See what happens here. I don't know what we want yet. Ready, go. Ready, oh, wait a minute. Ready, go.
We got it swaying now.
Okay, that's all right. We got to stop a second. All right, now, we could have done this a couple days ago, and I finally realized what the problem was. Johnny Cashier looked like that's a city slicker dressed in black, so I got him outfitted right this morning, and look at this. This wood is cooperating because it knows that we are real lumberjacks. We're not getting any argument.
You know I'm videoing that, you Mark. People are going to think, oh, man. Okay.
Ready?
Hey, no. Okay, anytime.
Go. Ready? Go.
Wait a second.
Got it.
That was probably one of the shortest pulls, Mark. We had some long ones.
Didn't get the most last though. Got a slip hook on there. And we got a little chain here. Oh, I know I got a chain here. Slip it up as close as we can, and we'll see what happens. Ready back there, Johnny?
Got it, buddy.